Good morning, District 8. My name is Katrina DeVille, and I'm running to be your Congresswoman. That's right, I'm showing up today because I am running for United States Congress in Wisconsin's 8th Congressional District, and today is the day. It is primary day. It is the day that we get to go and exercise our constitutional right and vote for the candidate that we believe in. I'm here asking for your vote. Vote for deVille for Congress for District 8. And I'm also showing up today with a list of things that I've talked about with y'all over the last 6 months, things that are important to you and they're important to me. So we're going to go through this list so I can hopefully make this a real easy decision for you, all right? Yeah, that's right. Hang on real tight because it's going to go real fast. You ready? Let's go. I'm running on Medicare for all, universal child care, a $22 an hour minimum wage, body autonomy, ending Citizens United and getting big corporate corruption money out of our politics, affordable housing, protecting our human rights, and government accountability, which absolutely means impeaching this unconstitutional president on day one. That's where we start. Moving on. We need to establish federal regulations for AI data centers. The idea that we're just going to let these go with no guardrails and no guidelines is absolutely upside down and obtuse. We need to set a moratorium that halts the building of all these data centers until we can understand the long-term effects that these are going to have on our citizens, our environments, our communities, and our infrastructure, period. We need to have federally funded renewable energy. What I'm talking about is wind, solar, water. These need to be nonprofit, and these need to be owned by the people, for the people. We need to decriminalize marijuana. We need to reestablish the office of the Attorney General of the United States as an elected position. This would ensure that the Attorney General of the United States stays beholden to the Constitution and the laws of this country and not to a rogue president like what we have right now. How them Epstein files working out for you? Yeah. We need to dismantle hate groups in this country. I'm talking about groups like the KKK, like the Proud Boys, like the Heritage Foundation. Yeah, we see ya. You ain't fooling anybody anymore. We need an LGBTQ Bill of Rights. We need to amend Clause 13 of House Rule 1. And if you don't know what that is the rule that was put in place on the first day of this 119th session of Congress that gave broader power to the Speaker of the House. Specifically, it gave him the power to call and dismiss the House of Representatives at his whim. Last time I checked, his title was Speaker of the House, not King of Congress. This is broader power than the founders of this country ever intended for him to have. It gives him the ability to render Congress useless. No wonder nothing gets done anymore. This needs to be taken and amended on day one, period. Tax the rich. What did she say? She said tax the rich. This means rewriting the federal budget, rewriting the tax code of this country to put more of the tax burden on the rich oligarchs of this country and take tax burden off of the middle class and working class of this nation. It also means that we need to reinstate funding for our national park systems, reinstate funding for the EPA, and go rein in the chaos that is the budget of the Department of Homeland Security. Y'all don't get just a blank check over there, all right? And that, while we're on it, I'm just going to say the thing, right? Abolish ICE. We need to abolish ICE. No more zip tying children and disappearing them off to God knows where. But at the same time, we do need a new law enforcement agency put in place that is absolutely going to uphold immigration, customs, and enforce the border while, wait for it, following the Constitution. What a concept, right? Yeah, law enforcement has to follow the Constitution too. It's kind of how it works. We need to demand a balanced budget from the Pentagon. This right here is the most blatant and in your face misuse of public taxpayer funds in modern American history. The Pentagon has not passed an audit in human memory. At the same time, we have the Secretary of War at Congress asking for more funding for this Iran war, asking for a blank check. No more, Mr. Secretary, no more funding until you can show us a clear leadership plan to get us out of Iran, and show me the money, okay? Show me where it's going. Where is all that money in the Pentagon going to? Like, the American people want to know. I want to know. We all deserve to know where the taxpayers' money is going. We need to see a clear and balanced budget from the Pentagon, period. We need to set staggered 20-year term limits for Supreme Court justices, while expanding the number of Supreme Court justices from 9 to 13. And while we're at it, we need to set age limits for Supreme Court justices and set age limits for members of Congress. No more electing dinosaurs, okay? Okay. We need to fix Social Security. The idea that we're going to let this fail when millions of Americans depend on it, absolutely upside down, unacceptable. We need to do the job of fixing Social Security. Congress, if you're not willing to do the job, this is your actual job. Get out of the way and let people into the position that will actually do the work. We need to establish national elections as a national holiday. This would actually be freedom showing up. Imagine not having to go to work today and being able to just go and vote and exercise your constitutional right, your stake in democracy. Every American should be able to do this, and I absolutely will work to make this happen. I promise you. We need to reestablish USAID, reinstating our soft power across the world and our humanitarian efforts across the world. We need to increase federal grants for homeless shelters and veterans shelters. This is super important to me. We do not take good enough care of our veterans when they come home. They've put their life on the line for this country, and we need to do the same for them. We need to uphold our promises and take care of our veterans, and we also need to take care of our homeless people. We need federal grants for dedicated women's shelters in District 8. Breaks my heart knowing that there are no homeless shelters, there are no women's shelters in Green Bay. Unacceptable. We need to reinitialize the organization of FEMA. Just because the president has gone and done away with this program doesn't mean disasters have stopped happening. I would like to help pass a well-funded farm bill, which means ensuring crop insurance, disaster aid, and incentivizing voluntary land and water conservation. Super important. I would also like to pass a federal right to repair law. I would like to address price gouging and monopolies in our food and agricultural industries. This would bring down the price of food for average everyday Americans and would put more profits in the pockets of our farmers. And this last one is really important to me. As the daughter of a teacher, with a grandmother who was a teacher, and 3 aunts that were teachers, I want to reestablish the Department of Education and make it stronger by increasing funding for states to fund their public schools, doing away with voucher programs completely. And this added funding absolutely will help make higher education free for all Americans. I'm talking about colleges and vocational schools. Financial ceilings should not even be an issue when people are trying to gain knowledge. It helps the entire nation. My name is Katrina DeVille, and I'm running for United States Congress in Wisconsin's 8th Congressional District because I believe in District 8, and I believe we can actually make it great together. It's Election Day. Please go to your polls and vote for deVille for Congress. Thank you very much, and I love you, Wisconsin. Let's go!